A man with no friends or a very small circle is a very, very secure man. Now, this may seem counterintuitive in our hyper-connected world, but there's deep wisdom here we must unpack. True security comes from within. It's not about the crowd around you, but the foundation beneath you. When a man stands alone, he stands on the bedrock of his own convictions, his own purpose, his own vision. The mighty oak tree, it does not need a forest to be strong. It grows tall and sturdy. Its roots deep in the earth. Whether it stands alone or among many, that's the kind of man we are talking about, rooted, unshakable, self-assured. There was once a young man named Marcus. Growing up, Marcus always felt the need to be surrounded by people. He measured his worth by the size of his social circle. If his phone wasn't constantly buzzing with messages and invitations, he felt inadequate, insecure. But one day, Marcus took a job that required him to move to a remote town where he knew no one. At first, he was terrified. The silence of his empty apartment seemed deafening. But as days turned into weeks, something remarkable happened. Marcus began to hear his own thoughts clearly for the first time. He rediscovered his passions, his dreams, his true self. In that solitude, Marcus found a strength he never knew he possessed. He realized that he didn't need constant validation from others. He learned to enjoy his own company, to trust his own judgment, to pursue his own goals without seeking anyone's approval. When Marcus eventually returned to the city, he was a changed man. His old friends barely recognized him, not because he looked different, but because he carried himself differently. He exuded a quiet confidence, a serene self-assurance that drew people to him naturally. Ironically, it was when he stopped desperately seeking friends that he found true, meaningful connections. My friend, this is the paradox of personal security. The man who needs no one is the man everyone wants to be around. Why? Because he brings something to the table that's rare in our world: authenticity, independence, inner peace. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not advocating for isolation or misanthropy. Humans are social creatures. And relationships can enrich our lives immensely. But there's a world of difference between choosing to connect with others and needing others to feel complete. The secure man, the man with a small circle or even no friends, has mastered the art of self-reliance. He's comfortable in his own skin, content with his own thoughts, at peace with his own company. This man does not fear solitude. He embraces it as an opportunity for growth, reflection, and self-discovery. The great leaders, innovators, and visionaries throughout history, many of them were known for their small, tight-knit circles, or even for being loners. They didn't conform to social norms or popularity. Instead, they focused inward, owning their skills, refining their ideas, pursuing their visions with singular focus. This inner security, this self-containment is a superpower in disguise. It frees you from the tyranny of public opinion. When you are not constantly seeking approval or validation from others, you are free to think independently, to take risks, to chart your own course in life. Let me tell you about another individual I once knew. We all call him David. David was what many would consider a popular guy. He had hundreds of friends on social media, was invited to every party, and seemed to know everyone in town. On the surface, he appeared confident and secure. But beneath that facade, David was a mist of insecurities. He was constantly checking his phone, anxious about missing out on any social event. He agonized over every post, counting likes and comments as if they were votes on his worth as a human being. He never said no to an invitation, even if it meant neglecting his work or his health, because he feared losing his social status. One day, David's phone broke. For a week, he was completely disconnected from his vast social network. At first, he felt like he was going through withdrawal. But as the days passed, he began to feel a sense of peace he hadn't experienced in years. He rediscovered old hobbies, spent time in nature, and for the first time in a long while, he was able to sit with his own thoughts without the constant buzz of notifications. When David finally got his phone fixed, he made a decision. He deactivated most of his social media accounts, stopped saying yes to every invitation, and started focusing on cultivating a few deep, meaningful friendships instead of maintaining hundreds of superficial connections. The transformation in David was remarkable. He became more focused, more productive, more present in his interactions with others. He no longer felt the need to document every moment of his life for public consumption. Instead, he learned to fully experience and appreciate each moment for what it was. This, my friend, is the essence of true security. It's not about having a large network to fall back on. It's about being so grounded in who you are that you don't need to fall back on anyone. Having a small circle or no friends does not automatically make you secure. True security is not about the number of people in your life. It's about your relationship with yourself. It's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and where you are going in life. The truly secure man is not secure because he's alone. He's secure whether he's alone or in a crowd. He does not seek solitude out of fear or insecurity, but out of a desire for growth and self-reflection. He does not avoid friendships because he's antisocial, but because he values quality over quantity in his relationships. This kind of man understands a fundamental truth. You can't pour from an empty cup. By investing time and energy in himself, by cultivating his own garden, so to speak, he becomes a source of strength and inspiration for others. He does not need constant input from others because he's generating his own energy, his own ideas, his own joy. When you are on an airplane, what do they tell you about oxygen masks? Put your own mask on first before assisting others. This is not selfish, it's necessary. You can't help anyone if you are gasping for air yourself. The same principle applies in life. By securing your own foundation first, you become better equipped to form genuine connections and contribute positively to the lives of others. Let me share one more story with you. There was a woman named Alina who had always prided herself on being a social butterfly. She had a wide circle of friends and acquaintances, and her calendar was always full of social engagements. Alina thought this busy social life was a sign of her success and popularity. But as the years went by, Alina began to feel a gnawing emptiness inside. Despite being constantly surrounded by people, she felt lonely and unfulfilled. She realized that many of her relationships were superficial, based on shared activities or social obligations rather than genuine connection. Inspired by a book she read about self-discovery, Alina decided to take a sabbatical from her social life. She spent 6 months traveling alone, exploring new places, and most importantly, exploring herself. During this time, she could journal, meditated regularly, and engaged in activities that challenged her physically and mentally. At first, the solitude was uncomfortable. Alina had to confront her fears, insecurities, and long ignored dreams. But as time passed, she began to feel a sense of peace and clarity she had never experienced before. She rediscovered her passion for painting, something she had abandoned years ago in favor of socializing. She learned to enjoy her own company, to trust her own judgment, to find joy in simple, solitary activities. When Alina returned from her sabbatical, her friends were shocked by the change in her. Gone was the frenetic energy, the need to be constantly doing or talking. In its place was a calm confidence, a serene self-assurance that was magnetic. Alina no longer felt the need to fill her calendar with social engagements. Instead, she chose her activities and her companions carefully, prioritizing meaningful experiences and genuine connections. Interestingly, as Alina became more selective about her social life, she found that her relationships deepened. The friends who remained in her life were those with whom she shared real bonds, not just social convenience. And because she was more grounded and self-aware, Alina was able to be a better friend, more present, more supportive, more authentic. This, my friend, is the power of being secure in oneself. It's not about shutting others out, but about being so full, so complete in yourself that you can engage with others from a place of abundance rather than need. In our society, there's often a stigma attached to being alone or having a small social circle. We are bombarded with images of large groups of friends, told that popularity is a measure of success, that being alone means being lonely. But this is a dangerous misconception. Loneliness is not about being alone, it's about feeling alone even when you are surrounded by people. True security, true fulfillment comes from within. It's about being comfortable in your own skin, content with your own thoughts, at peace with your own company. The man with no friends or a very small circle has often reached this state of self-contentment. He's not isolating himself out of fear or inability to connect. Rather, he's chosen to prioritize quality over quantity in his relationships. He understands that one deep, meaningful connection is worth more than 100 superficial acquaintances. This man has learned to be his own best friend. He's kind to himself, patient with his flaws, celebratory of his strengths. He does not need constant external validation because he's learned to validate himself. He does not fear solitude because he knows that in solitude he can hear his own inner voice most clearly. The times in your life when you have had your most profound realizations, your most creative ideas, your moments of deepest peace, chances are many of these moments occurred when you were alone. There's a reason why so many spiritual traditions emphasize the importance of solitude and silence. It's in these quiet moments that we can hear the whispers of our soul, the urgings of our deepest self. The secure man understands this. He creates space in his life for solitude, not because he dislikes people, but because he values growth and self-awareness. He knows that by continually investing in himself, by constantly seeking to learn and improve, he becomes a better person, not just for himself, but for everyone he interacts with. This does not mean he never experiences moments of doubt or insecurity. Being secure does not mean being invulnerable. It means having the inner strength to face those moments of vulnerability, to sit with uncomfortable emotions without needing to immediately seek comfort or distraction from others. The truly secure man also understands the value of boundaries. He knows when to say no, when to step back, when to prioritize his own needs and goals. This is not selfishness, it's self-respect. By honoring his own boundaries, he teaches others to do the same. He creates relationships based on mutual respect rather than codependency or obligation. When you are secure in yourself, you become a rock in the storm for others. You are not easily swayed by peer pressure or public opinion. You can stand firm in your convictions even when they are unpopular. This kind of inner strength is rare, and it's incredibly attractive to others. The secure man is a natural leader, not because he seeks power or control, but because others naturally look to him for guidance. His calm confidence, his clear sense of purpose, his unwavering self-belief, these qualities inspire others. People are drawn to those who know who they are and where they are going. When you are secure in yourself, you are better equipped to handle life's challenges. You don't crumble in the face of adversity because your sense of self is not dependent on external circumstances. You can weather storms that would shake a less grounded individual to their core. This security also allows you to be more authentic in your interactions with others. You don't feel the need to put on a mask or play a role. You can be genuinely yourself, flaws and all, because your self-worth is not tied to others' approval. This authenticity, in turn, invites others to be authentic with you, leading to deeper, more meaningful connections. The man with no friends or a very small circle often has more time and energy to invest in personal growth and pursuits. He's not constantly juggling social obligations or worrying about maintaining a large network. Instead, he can focus on developing his skills, pursuing his passions, and working towards his goals with singular focus. This does not mean he's immune to the human need for connection. We are, after all, social creatures. But the secure man understands that true connection is not about quantity. It's about quality. He may have fewer friends, but the friendships he does have are likely to be deep, genuine, and mutually enriching. In fact, the selectivity in relationships often leads to more fulfilling connections. When you are not desperate for companionship, when you are content in yourself, You can choose your friends based on shared values and genuine affinity rather than convenience or social pressure. You are more likely to form relationships that truly add value to your life, rather than those that merely fill time or meet social expectations. The secure man also understands the value of solitude in fostering creativity and innovation. Many of the world's greatest thinkers, artists, and inventors were known for their solitary habits. They understood that breakthrough ideas often come in moments of quiet reflection, not in the noise and bustle of constant social interaction. By embracing solitude, you create space for your mind to wander, to make unexpected connections, to delve deep into problems and emerge with novel solutions. You allow yourself the luxury of uninterrupted thought, of focused work, of deep dive into subjects that fascinate you. This is not to say that collaboration is not valuable. It absolutely is. But the most effective collaborators are often those who have first developed their own ideas, their own perspectives, their own unique ways of thinking. They bring something to the table that's truly their own, not just an echo of the group consensus. Some might hear this message about the security of the man with few or no friends and think it's promoting antisocial behavior or encouraging people to cut themselves off from others. This couldn't be further from the truth. The goal is not to avoid all human contact or to never form close relationships. The goal is to reach a place of such inner security, such self-containment, that your happiness and sense of self aren't dependent on others. From this place of strength and self-assurance, you can then choose to form connections that are genuine, meaningful, and mutually beneficial. A tree does not need other trees to stand tall and strong. It grows deep roots, reaches for the sky, and thrives whether it's in a dense forest or standing alone in a field. But a forest is strong. Self-reliant trees creates an ecosystem that's far more resilient and vibrant than any single tree could be on its own. That's the paradox of true security. When you are secure in yourself, when you don't need others to complete you or validate your worth, you actually become capable of forming deeper, more authentic connections. You bring your whole, genuine self to your relationships, not a needy, insecure version seeking constant reassurance. The man with no friends or a very small circle has often mastered this paradox. He's not alone because he can't connect with others, but because he's learned the value of selective, meaningful connection. He understands that it's better to have a few deep, genuine friendships than a multitude of superficial acquaintances. This man has also learned the art of being alone without being lonely. He's comfortable in his own company, able to enjoy solitary activities without feeling the constant need for distraction or social interaction. This ability to be at peace with oneself is a rare and valuable skill in our hyper-connected, constantly stimulated world. Moreover, this kind of self-reliance and inner security makes you a better friend, partner, and community member when you do choose to engage. You are not coming to relationships with a sense of lack or need, but from a place of fullness and abundance. You have something genuine to offer because you have taken the time to develop yourself, to understand your own mind and heart. The secure man also understands the value of maintaining his individuality within relationships. He does not lose himself in his connections with others. He maintains his own interests, his own opinions, his own sense of self. This not only keeps him grounded and secure, but it also makes him more interesting and engaging to others. In our society, we often equate popularity with success, assuming that the person with the most friends or the largest social media following must be doing something right. But the truly secure man knows better. He understands that external validation is fleeting and unreliable. True security, true confidence comes from within. This inner security allows you to stand firm in your convictions, even when they are unpopular. It gives you the courage to pursue your dreams, even when others doubt you. It provides you with the strength to weather life's storms, knowing that your core self remains unshaken regardless of external circumstances. The man with no friends or a very small circle has often reached this level of inner strength and self-assurance. He's not swayed by peer pressure or societal expectations. He charts his own course, guided by his own moral compass and personal goals. This kind of independence can be intimidating to some. In a world that often values conformity and social acceptance above all else, the man who stands alone can seem strange or even threatening. But to those who understand, this independence is deeply admirable. It speaks of a strength of character, a clarity of purpose that is rare and valuable. This inner security allows for a level of authenticity that is refreshing in a world often dominated by superficiality and performative behavior. The secure man, comfortable in his own skin, does not feel the need to put on a facade or conform to societal expectations. His words and actions align with his true self, creating an aura of genuineness that others find magnetic. This authenticity breeds trust. In a world where many interactions feel shallow or transactional, the secure man's sincerity stands out. People are drawn to his realness, his unfiltered thoughts, his unapologetic embrace of who he is. This does not mean he's always agreeable or easy to be around. Authentic people rarely are. But it does mean that interactions with him are meaningful, substantial, and free from the exhausting dance of social pretense. The man with few or no friends often possesses a depth of character that comes from spending time in self-reflection. He's had the opportunity to explore his own psyche, to confront his fears and shortcomings, to cultivate his strengths and passions. This self-knowledge translates into a kind of quiet confidence that is far more compelling than the brash self-assurance of those who rely on external validation. This inner security also allows for a level of vulnerability that paradoxically makes one stronger. The secure man is not afraid to admit his mistakes, to show his emotions, to ask for help when he needs it. He knows that true strength is not about appearing invincible, but about having the courage to be fully human, flaws and all. In professional settings, this security manifests as a focused dedication to one's work and vision. The man who does not need constant social stimulation can dive deep into his projects, pursuing excellence without distraction. He's not swayed by office politics or the need to be liked by everyone. Instead, he lets the quality of his work speak for itself. This security also fosters resilience when your sense of self is not tied to external factors, your social status, your job title, your material possessions. You become better equipped to handle life's inevitable ups and downs. The secure man with few friends has learned to find stability within himself, allowing him to weather storms that might devastate others. Moreover, this inner security often translates into a heightened sense of empathy and compassion. When you are not constantly preoccupied with your own social standing or need for validation, you have more mental and emotional energy to truly see and understand others. The secure man can listen without judgment, offer support without expectation of return, and connect with others on a deeper, more meaningful level. This security also allows for a more nuanced understanding of the world. The man who spends time in solitude or with a small, carefully chosen circle often has the space to develop his own thoughts and perspectives. Rather than simply absorbing and regurgitating popular opinions, he's more likely to think critically, to question assumptions, to see beyond surface-level interpretations of events and ideas. In essence, the security of the man with few or no friends is a form of freedom. Freedom from the tyranny of public opinion, from the exhausting cycle of seeking approval, from the fear of being alone with one's thoughts. This freedom allows for a life lived on one's own terms, guided by personal values and aspirations rather than societal expectations. It's important to note that this security does not happen overnight. It's the result of a journey, often a challenging one, of self-discovery and growth. It requires courage to step away from the crowd, to face one's inner demons, to choose quality over quantity in relationships. But for those who undertake this journey, the rewards are immeasurable. The man with no friends or a very small circle, far from being pitied, should be recognized for the strength and security he embodies. His self-reliance, his authenticity, his depth of character. These are qualities not only in his own life, but the lives of those fortunate enough to connect with him. This security is not about isolation or misanthropy. It's about knowing yourself so well, being so grounded in your own identity that you can engage with the world from a place of genuine strength and openness. It's about being so secure in who you are that you don't need constant external validation to feel worthy or complete. As we navigate an increasingly connected yet often superficial world, perhaps we all could benefit from cultivating this kind of inner security by learning to be comfortable with solitude, by prioritizing depth over breadth in our relationships, by developing our own thoughts and values. We can become more grounded, more authentic, more truly ourselves. The path to this kind of security may not be easy, and it may not be for everyone, but for those who choose it, it offers a profound sense of peace, purpose, and personal power. It allows us to move through the world not as leaves blown by the wind of public opinion, but as strong, deeply rooted trees, standing tall in our own truth. Don't fear solitude. Use it as a tool for growth and self-reflection. Cultivate meaningful relationships. But don't depend on them for your sense of self-worth. Develop your own thoughts. Pursue your own passions. Live by your own values. Remember, true security comes from within. It's not about the number of friends you have, but about the strength of your relationship with yourself. When you are secure in who you are, you become a beacon of authenticity in a world hungry for genuine connection. You become not just a participant in life, but a creator of it. The most secure man is not the one surrounded by a crowd, but the one who can stand alone, strong, authentic, and at peace with himself. That is true power. That is true security. And that, my friends, is a goal worth striving for.